After seeing the completionist's review of this game, I decided I had to check it out. And if I'm gonna be honest, I've had some mixed feelings on this game. I guess I'll start with the story of the game. Just like you'd expect from something starring Deadpool, he's completely aware of the fact that he's in the game the entire time. The story of the game is very simple. Deadpool was contracted to kill Chance White, but Mr. Sinister ended up killing him first, so Deadpool's out for revenge. Also, Mr. Sinister might be involved in destroying the world or something, but the game doesn't really focus on that because Deadpool doesn't exactly care about it. The humor in this game is great. It reminds me a lot of Saints Row 4. Although I do think Saints Row 4 is funnier than this game's still pretty friggin' funny. Now onto the gameplay. The gameplay of this game involves you killing a bunch of enemies through a variety of different means, whether it be melee weapons, guns, or a bunch of other stuff. Also during the gameplay, there's conversations between Deadpool and the voices in his head, and while these are decently funny, they're not exactly the highlight of the game's humor. The combat in this game is good, but it's not great. It's fun to play for a time, but it's nothing like No More Heroes where it's really good. This might just come from the fact that I'm not that big a fan of beat-em-ups in general, but I honestly think this game could have used more variety in its gameplay. Don't get me wrong. I did have fun with this game's combat system, but I also think that it can get stale after a little while. My personal favorite level in the game was the one involving death, partially because I think that it's the funniest out of all the levels, but also because it added a lot of variety with the gameplay. However, with the other levels, I didn't really find them all that good. I personally find the landscapes in these levels really dull, and while yes, they do mix it up from time to time in terms of gameplay and other things in these levels, they don't really do it as much as I would have liked them to. The way I feel about this game is interesting to say the least. When this game focuses on being a game, it can range from being pretty fun to really boring. But when the game focuses on mixing things up, being really funny, or just Deadpool being Deadpool, that's when it really shines. Honestly, it's not all that different from what I thought of the movie. When it was all making jokes and Deadpool looking at the camera, I thought it was at its best. But I think it felt weak at parts because there were some things that it kinda just seemed like they did because it's a movie and they felt like they had to do it. But anyway, back to Deadpool the video game. Would I recommend it? The game sure is funny, but it's also short, and the gameplay is kind of just on the average side. If the game's selling at full price, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you can get it for a relatively low cost, sure, why not? I'm Defoffalizer, and I'll see you in the next video.